So we've got a Toro Titan HD in for some service. I'm going to go over just quickly the things that I like and the things that I don't like about this unit. So it's sold as a commercial unit, or at least semi-commercial. This one was sold by a dealer, it looks like, here locally. This is a 74467 as far as the serial number goes. They make quite a few different variations of this depending on what engine and what different features and stuff you have on it, different deck sizes. This has got the Turbo 460 on it. Good decks. Basically, I think they took this design from Exmark originally. The Toro MyRide system. People love it that have back issues and stuff like that. I have back issues myself. I hate it. What I don't like about it is that when you go to stop, the whole seat and suspension kind of tips forward. It almost makes you feel like you're gonna fall off the thing when you stop, I believe. So when you're going around trees or anything like that, you know, you're kind of just floating and stopping, you know, especially with your quick movements. I mean, it might be good for somebody who's got some large areas, but otherwise I don't prefer it. Now, to me, it doesn't feel right and it's kind of a little bit sketchy, but there are a lot of people out there that like it and they say that it does well for their back. So it's got the adjustments on the back side. So what you can do is you can adjust the struts, basically what these are, for your different size adjustments. So depending on how firm or how loose you want it, and maybe I just need a stiffer adjustment here on it to keep me from doing that as bad and maybe make it a little bit better for me. But again, I've had it on all the settings and I just don't prefer it. Maybe if I was mowing for a long time with it with straightaways, maybe I'd like it a little bit better. But some good about this unit. Tires are all 4-ply, kind of standard on a lot of these commercial units. It's got the deck step here going on up. Everything is very accessible when it comes to the deck. So you can just pull the cover, just pull it right off. And that's super nice compared to a lot of the other ones. If you got a bunch of stuff, you know, obviously I just took a bunch of, he hasn't cleaned this very well. That's why it's in for service. Seems like he never does on this unit. Just waits for us to do it once a year. That's what's good about the deck, and you can access everything up underneath real easily. So you can get all into your pulleys, your idlers. You can change your belt pretty easily up under here. Plenty of room, especially if you drop the deck down. One of the bad things about this unit is that there's no grease zerks. The whole thing has basically no grease zerks. There's none on the spindles. There's none on any of your adjustments here for the front. You know, the original Exmark design had one basically at every pivot point. You know, so they've changed that kind of to, in my opinion, just make it so it breaks down quicker. You know, within 10 years, I mean, all this stuff's going to be worn out. You're going to have to replace it. You know, if they make these parts obsolete, you're going to be at the mercy of them. You know, so you're going to see a lot more of these being replaced as opposed to repaired, like a lot of the older Exmarks. I see, you know, some Exmarks that are really old, and you can still get parts for them here and there, but for the most part, people are buying them for parts, you know, stealing a deck here, stealing some other parts there. But a lot of the stuff's still in really good shape because they were greasable, as long as people took care of them. You can pop the cover off and kind of fill up your front caster forks here with grease. There is one grease zert for the wheels, and that's for the axle going through, and that's most likely just because it was originally made like that from whoever makes the rims for Toro. So the cutting heights on this are good. I like the adjustment here with the foot pedal. It's got 1/4 inch increments going up all the way from 5 inches to about 1 inch. So that's real nice in my opinion. You know, you can just kind of flip it, and then it's also got a lock for your height. So that's nice. And then I also like that it's got the rubber deflector. I like these for some reason. They just seem to do a better job of keeping stuff down as opposed to the plastic ones that are a little bit more stiff on here. The seat's pretty nice. I do like it, along with the armrests. I mean, it's a comfortable seat, don't get me wrong. It's just with the movement of it, I don't like that whatsoever. This thing's got, let's see, 154 hours on it, so I think it's 2 years of use. And this is somebody who's a homeowner, So he's not, you know, commercially mowing with it, but he's got a little bit of acreage. So the engine back here. Now the engine is one of the things that I'm not a real big fan of. This has the Toro branded. A lot of times they brand them X Mark II. It depends on what they're on, obviously. It looks like he's replaced the filter with a HIPAA filter. That's just a cheap knockoff company that's sold a lot on Amazon and places like that. Don't really think they make bad products for the most part. I think they do a halfway decent job of their products, but the reason he probably put this on here is because the X Mark and Toro branded filters are like 20 bucks. There's a lot of aftermarket filters out there that do a way better job. I think Rotary makes one that's good quality. There's a couple others also, but they make it just with a little bit different threads and a little bit different bump out on it. So you can't use some of the other filters commercially available. They want you to buy their $20 filter. Don't do that. Buy one of the aftermarkets. This stuff, you know, this engine's made by Loncin. It's not made by Toro or X Mark. Those filters are not going to be any better quality than what you're buying as far as an aftermarket filter goes. This engine, again, made by Loncin. It is a Chinese-made engine. We haven't seen a ton of issues yet with them, but I just don't like the design. You know, when you're reading the original Loncin manual, originally in there, they tell you no internal parts are available. Now, Toro and X Mark have made those available, but that's probably just because they bought, you know, tens of thousands of all these parts and made them available themselves. Loncin, you know, with something like that being told in a manual to begin with, that just tells you that they're not standing behind their work. They're not a quality company. They're meant to be throwaway engines. So, not my first pick of engine. I would go with the Kawasaki. Even the Kohler on something like this. They do have a few different options. I believe they put a Kohler on this. I know they put a Kawasaki for sure. Now, the one thing I do want to point out that I like about this is the quick drain for the oil. So on this, all you've got to do is pull the, just got to twist. Well, normally just have to twist and pull that down. Let me get a pair of pliers. I don't want to, I did one time on that. Try to pull it down. And if you don't twist first, you can't actually break off that nipple that holds this up in there. Now you don't want to do that. So let's twist that off. Now this is all supposed to be tool free. Supposed to be able to just do that by hand. But all you got to do is take it out, and then you basically just come straight down and you drain this down below. So it's supposed to be mess free, hassle free, straight out, and now you're draining all your oil. So that's a great feature. I think more companies should do something like that. But again, it doesn't come without the consequence of, you know, something like this. If you got to use a tool to get that off so you don't break the nipple there that's holding it on to begin with, it kind of defeats the purpose. So, but quick drains are great. That way you don't have to, you know, mess with a lot of them have the quick drains down here. They're just kind of pieces of junk. They don't last very well. They leak a lot of times. So this has got a nice system there. I do like that. Ease of access with all of the platform and everything here with all the guards. You can get to the spark plugs real easy. But anything else, engine-wise, carb, or anything, you know, valve covers and stuff like that, it's going to be a little harder. You're going to have to take this whole back cage off. So serviceability-wise there isn't great. They did take some good features with this engine from like the Kawasaki and the Kohler commercials, you know, as that it has the canister air filter up top. That's definitely a better filter system than, you know, like a cartridge type or a flat type filtration system. But again, cheap Chinese engine, not going to last you a whole heck of a long time in my opinion, but they seem to put pretty good power out. So they've got the hydro gears, ET3100 commercial hydro gears on them. Now this is the same that's on, we did a review on a X Mark Radius S. Basically the same design, everything on these. I do like this system as it's easy to get to up top if you're replacing the drive belt or anything like that, idler pulleys. Just go ahead and pull your clutch off there, pull it straight down, disconnect it, and then you're right to everything. You know, it's easy to work on. And then changing the oil on these, all you've got to do is take the cover off, unscrew the filter, and then you can go ahead and put more oil in it. You know, you can fill it right back up. So obviously you got to drain it and fill it to the correct level and that stuff. Now these have the expansion tanks up top. I have had some issues with those. I believe on the Radius X, I had an issue where the bolts came loose here that hold the expansion tank on. Let's see if these are in good shape or how. It seems pretty solid there. Looks like we're a little bit low on the oil side, but not bad. So it's almost to the full cold. And these tires are kind of flat, so it looks like maybe it's a little to the right. Right tires are almost flat anyway. So I don't like the accumulation of grass up under here, but again, this guy doesn't blow it off, doesn't take good care of it whatsoever. You can see how just covered and everything it is. We take care of it usually once a year for the guy, and it's always like this. You know, there's grass just everywhere on the thing. No real cleaning done the entire time he has it. These things boast a 4-year warranty or 750-hour warranty. Warranties to me anymore are big scams. I don't believe they really do anything. We've had so many companies that have approached us, and we've tried to do warranties over the years. 9 times out of 10 they don't want to cover anything anyway. And that's not just, you know, these Toro or Exmark or big companies. That's smaller companies too. A lot of them just aren't standing behind anything anymore. You know, it's a manufacturing defect warranty, more or less. So if there's a real issue, a lot of times they will take care of it. But anything else, you know, a lot of times they're going to say this is user error. Real easy to change anything you want to change. Again, there's just so much access up underneath. That's all great. Lack of grease zerks, huge issue. I don't agree with that whatsoever, but I do, again, really like these decks. They're super easy, really thick. They keep the grass out from under. You can see how clean the deck is up under here. There's just no accumulation whatsoever. And again, he hasn't done anything as far as that goes. So, I mean, that's definitely a good feature. They've got a 7-gallon capacity tank. They claim 9 miles an hour forward. That's pretty fast speed, you know, 24.5 V-twin engine on it. Overall, I'd say it's a decent mower, but if you're looking for something that's gonna have some longevity, maybe look for something that's got some serviceable parts, something that's got grease zerks to it. A lot of this stuff anymore is being made to fail. It's not made to last for the life, you know, for the lifetime of the unit. They say the bearings, you know, they don't put the grease zerks because they're gonna last for the lifetime of the bearing. Yes, it will last the lifetime of the bearing, but the bearing life will be about half of what it should be because you can't grease it, you know. Another feature I like here is that on the front, it's got the area where you can actually put the jack to it. So there's a jack attachment that slides in, and it's kind of like a boat jack. You just lift it straight up so you can work on it. That's great. It's perfect for like a homeowner if you're going to sharpen your blades or, you know, work on the mower at all. I do like that feature, but overall, I'd say definitely go with a different engine if you're going to buy something like this, at the very least. If not, go with a different mower that you're going to be able to, you know, grease, and that you're going to be able to make last you a lifetime if you take care of it. If you're not going to take care of it anyway, it's not really going to matter. You know, if it has grease zerks, hey, great, but if you're not using them, it really doesn't make one bit of difference. So that's all I have to say at this point. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.